Okay, welcome back to Violent Money TV. Today I am joined by Amy Pirnie, who returns at One Fight Night 25 to take on Shir Cohen, October 5th, Pirnie Stadium. Before we get to that fight, we have to talk about the One Championship debut. First of all, before we talk about the actual performance, you must be happy to be on the next Fight Night card that was the next possible option. I'm sure maybe there was maybe an option where you would fight on one of the Friday fights cards or something like that. But this is kind of the next earliest date that you could be booked on. So I'm sure you're happy about that.
Yeah, definitely. So it's obviously like good to get fights on the bounce, especially when you're coming out of a fight uninjured. And it's just pretty much just kind of ticking over and training and stuff like that, and getting yourself ready for something that's pretty soon. It's always better to do it that wee bit faster, do you know what I mean, and not having too much time between.
Obviously, like that's even more important because it had been quite a long time like before the one championship debut since you fought before then, and we'll get into that in a minute. But what was it like to get back out there, and did you feel like there was any kind of like feeling out process in terms of not necessarily the fight because it didn't last that long, but in terms of the fight week and the preparations and stuff like that? Was it a little bit of a process to get the ball rolling again?
In fairness, obviously it was my first one championship fight, so it was a wee bit of a kind of a whirlwind getting used to how they operate and stuff like that. Because obviously every promotion is slightly different. Do you know what I mean? But one is such a high level promotion that it was just although it was that kind of bit new, it was so smooth as well. Everything went absolutely perfect. So it was actually really enjoyable fight week. Do you know what I mean? Because there was no stress. It was pretty much just be here at this time, be here at that time, and like go and enjoy yourself in the fight. It wasn't it was good. It was good.
With the opponent Yu Yao Pui, she was running through people with this crazy aggressive style up until you guys fought obviously that incredible knockout that you got at Lumpini Stadium. The I suppose the way that I would look at it is that your experience is a huge part in that fight because you didn't get overwhelmed by that aggression. Is that how you feel like it played out when you compared kind of when you watched the tape of her previous fights and thought, okay, well, this is how I'm going to beat her because I'm not going to crumble under that pressure that some of her other
Mhm.
opponents did?
Yeah, everybody kind of like just stayed on the back foot with her, which I can understand because obviously her pressure was like from the bell. She was on the front foot and stuff like that. But we were pretty much working on timing it. So we knew that she was going to rush forward. We knew that she rushed forward with our right hand down quite low. So we knew that what would happen is we would come in and we would meet her rather than step back. So obviously that was something that we put implemented in training the whole way through camp and things like that. My coach's job was not thankful for it on the lead up, but it paid off in the end. But we knew that she was going to be really aggressive, and it was pretty much just biding more time and waiting for my heavy shots to land. And thankfully, it came pretty early on. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, we knew that she was going to be aggressive and on the front foot, and I felt that every opponent that she had previously just went backwards, and it didn't actually meet her, do you know what I mean? And use essentially her stepping forward as momentum for like a powerful shot. So yeah, it worked in my favour, and I definitely think it does come down to experience, and obviously my coach is picking up on that as well.
Yeah. Obviously, like I said, a phenomenal performance, especially I think after coming off of that long layoff, which I know I've only done a brief amount of research into this because I thought it would just be better to ask you right now instead. That
Mhm.
kind of break, I know that there was some kind of difficulty with fights that were being put together with like K1 and stuff that then didn't happen and stuff like that. Like, what was the overall reason for that break? And then when I assume the the opportunity to come back was one championship saying, okay, we want you to fight on this card and whatever. Like, how long did it take for that to come into to place?
So I actually took time out. So I defended my line fight world title in Glasgow in August 2021. and I was due to go out a month later, I think, to fight girl from Canada, Regan Gowan. But I actually pulled from that fight just due to injury. Um, and it's been a long-standing injury that I've had. But it just kind of it comes and goes almost. So I did pull out of that fight for that, and then decided to take a wee bit of time out just to focus on getting that back 100% before I actually accepted anything. And then it was just kind of like just one thing after another. Like fights didn't come off. Do you know what I mean? So it wasn't kind of it wasn't planned to be that long off, but it just kind of happened that way, unfortunately. And then just before like we actually got the kind of call up for one championship and stuff like that, I had quite a lot of like family illness and things like that as well. So everything kind of took a back seat because of that. So and then we did get the one championship opportunity. I was actually matched to fight in the August on a show at home, but I actually accepted the one championship deal before that fight actually went ahead. So we switched to one instead of that one. So um, yeah, it was just kind of just things didn't come together. That was all.
Was there any point where it was like you didn't know whether you were going to be able to compete again? I'd say that because um, you obviously were able to come back. We recently had one of the other top UK strikers, Iman Barlow, retired because she just couldn't get the fights that maybe she wanted to have, or that she felt were kind of worth sticking around for. And so it was kind of like, it's a weird end to a career. I mean, don't get me wrong, going out kind of on her own terms, which is a good thing, but also just a little bit of a, well, I guess, I guess this is it. We'll just call it here, and kind of
Mhm.
an unceremonious way to end a career, but just the nature of things, I suppose.
Yeah, I kind of felt that obviously with the injury and stuff like that, that there was points where I thought to myself, this could be it. Do you know what I mean? Like, which I think goes through everybody's head when you're kind of dealing with a pretty bad injury as an athlete. Like, you think, can I come back for this? And when? Like, if I can. So, but I always wanted to have at least one more. I didn't want to finish on just just not turning up again, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to be, I wanted to go out on my own terms, probably the same as a man as well. Um, but obviously this opportunity came along, and I'm hoping that I get another few years out of it before we call it a day. So it is obviously a massive opportunity, and there's I'm coming to the end of my career. Do you know what I mean? I'm not as young as some of the athletes that are on this card, but I think it's the best way to finish a career is on top. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah, I think the positive thing is that these divisions have got contenders and champions and things like that. So it's not like there's not going to be a long time waiting to be like, oh, well, who can I possibly fight? Because they're
yeah,
already there in the division. Like I know that when I mentioned about K1, there was Kana that you were potentially going to fight, and she's now signed to one. So there are already these people in the division. I mean, when you knock out Yu Yao Pui, I don't think you're far away from that anyway, considering the win streak that she was on. But like, you have that structure already, so it's like you can reasonably kind of look at the layout and go, well, I could fight this person, this person, this person. Probably do that in a couple of years, and then if that's where it ends, it ends. So it definitely feels like if this is going to be the kind of last run, you've got it lined out in front of you of what you can actually do rather than just having to wait for certain fights to come around.
hmm definitely. I think obviously with that layout, and obviously the weight division that I'm in, there is quite a lot of girls actually in it. So the it's not as if like fight avenues are going to be exhausted like straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like there's definitely plenty, well, the best athletes that's out there in that weight class are in one. And there's always fighters coming through as well. Do you know what I mean? Like there's always like from the Friday fights and stuff like that. There's always like really good um fighters coming through. So I don't think it will ever be the type of place that you go, you sign a contract, and there isn't that many fights for you. I think it just depends, I suppose, on your division as well. I think I'm in quite a good division for as a female. It's quite a kind of um it's a good weight class for females. I think there's quite a lot of females at this weight that are pretty high level. So yeah, I think I'll definitely there's loads of girls in the division that will be really exciting to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. We should talk about the opponent. You spoke about how a big part of that win over Yu Pui was identifying where previous opponents were going wrong. Is there a particular kind of key to this fight against Shir Cohen on a one fight night 25?
I think it'll probably come down to experience again. Do you know what I mean? So, obviously, I've been in the sport a long time now, so I definitely feel I've got a lot of experience, and I feel like I'm quite a technical fighter as well. So I think that will all come into play. Um, Obviously, with every fight, you've got a game plan, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But we're just definitely coming in to keep it exciting. That's pretty much of the game plan that I would like to give away at this moment in time. But as long as my fights are exciting, the crowd pleasers and stuff like that, we're always going for that kind of style of fight. So yeah, I think she's definitely got a really good game. I think she's a great fighter. She's really tough, quite aggressive and stuff like that. She's fast as well. So there's definitely loads to look out for. Fighting against her to be defensive with. Um, but I definitely think there's a lot of holes in her game as well. Nobody's perfect. So we're gonna capitalize on those gaps.
You mentioned being in the game for a long time at this stage, and considering this is the first time that I'm speaking to you, I was like, well, I have to mention this, because back in 2017, Yokkao 24, you fought Dakota Ditcheva, who has obviously gone on to do incredible things in MMA at the moment. What have you made of the way that she's been able to kind of transition to MMA? And was competing in MMA ever something that was kind of on your radar at any stage, or was it always this path? Because obviously it's not that much of a common thing, but I definitely feel like it's becoming more common, especially with one championship and giving the fighters that opportunity to compete in different rule sets all under one championship.
I think obviously Dakota's done like incredible work at PFL. She's always been a really amazing striker. Like that's obviously a big part of her game, and she's finding that obviously in MMA that's where a lot of the other girls are lacking, and she's just absolutely like running through girls. So she's doing incredible. She's really strong as well. And I think her mindset's like bulletproof as well. So I think she knows she's going to the top of that. So she's doing really good things. She was a tough fight as well. So she was probably one of my favorite fights I've ever had because it wasn't an easy fight. It was a tough fight. It kept me on my toes, kept me thinking. So yeah, she was a really good opponent, and I really wish her the best of luck because she is doing great things. MMA for me has never been something that's really been in my head. I'm super passionate about Muay Thai, and I didn't really want to take my focus away from that by trying to learn a completely new sport. Do you know what I mean? Like I would want to be um pretty high level and BJJ or whatever kind of form of wrestling there was before actually transitioning into something like that. I wouldn't want to go into it half-hearted almost, do you know what I mean? And I say I'm 31 now, so trying to pick up a completely new sport to fight in different types of martial arts is just not on the cards for me. But I can see why some of the young athletes that are coming through are obviously going to start transitioning and giving themselves a greater opportunity to compete across different sports.
Yeah. Last one from me, a little bit of a, I suppose, glimpse into the future. It looks like your fellow Scot, Nico Carrillo, is going to be taking on Superlek in the near future. What a fight that is. I can't wait to see it. How do you think he'll get on against Superlek, who just seems to get better and better with every fight? And I think you could say the same for Nico at this stage in his career. So that seems like it's going to be a fight of the year.
I think it'll really be interesting because obviously Superlet's got like a massive amount of experience in comparison to Nico, but Nico has been absolutely like just walking through people. Do you know what I mean? He's so strong for that division. So I think it'll be a really exciting fight. And it is good to see other Scottish people doing really well on such like obviously on a huge platform for Muay Thai. So yeah, I'm excited for it actually. I'm looking forward to seeing what will happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Excited to see what's going to happen as well at One Fight Night 25, October 5th. Amy, thank you for your time. And yeah, all the best with Fight Week. And I hope everything goes well for you out in Thailand. I'm sure we'll catch you at some point after the fight.
Thank you so much.
All
Appreciate
right.
the time.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day. And yeah, all the best.